And those were a summary of business news headlines today. Now, renowned economist Kwame Pienim says that government could consider imposing tax elements on uncompleted residential and commercial buildings as part of moves to increase revenue mobilization. He was speaking at the opening of the 8th edition of the Ghana Economic Forum in Accra. There's more in this report.
Ghanaian business economist and investment consultant Kwame Pienim has raised concerns over the spread of uncompleted residential and commercial buildings across the country. As Ghana's lands get finished, the renowned economist who spoke at the 2019 Ghana Economic Forum suggested some taxes be imposed on owners of unused lands or uncompleted buildings as a way of increasing domestic revenue and making lands available for infrastructure development in the country.
You go around Accra, see a lot of uncompleted houses. Maybe we should put a tax on uncompleted houses. If you put a house on uncompleted houses, then people will make sure they complete houses very quickly to earn income. Land that is not being used. You have land, people are sitting on land, they won't give it out for it. Maybe we should put tax on undeveloped land. So there are ways we can. You see the districts, they should be able to raise money in the district. We are talking about communal activities.
In a keynote address, President Akufo-Addo re-emphasized government's commitment to fiscal discipline. He explained prudent macroeconomic management remained a priority for government's economic management team.
I am committed to fiscal rectitude becoming an essential feature of our DNA in the management of our public finances and national economy. And in the last 2 years, has been among the world's fastest growing economies.
Taking his turn, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, noted that all gains made in achieving macroeconomic stability must be sustained.
It is incumbent on us as policymakers to demonstrate strong commitment to this policy framework in the near term to ensure that the gains achieved so far are sustained.
MD of Barclays Bank, Ms. Abna Osei-Poku, charged the Bank of Ghana to continue keeping a close eye on its price stability mandate. She's also called for more financial intermediation, especially after the banking sector cleanup.
To achieve and sustain economic and financial stability, I believe a triad of responsibilities and actions must be deployed. To run a sustainable fiscal regime and still deliver development, revenue mobilization and expenditure efficiency are key.
Discussions at this year's forum will be hinged on sustaining financial and economic stability with a look at the key priorities.
Other news, Nigerian High Commissioner to Ghana, Oluferi Michael Abikoye, is urging the Nigerian Union of Traders Association of Ghana to expose members who flout the laws of the country. He believes such stance is crucial to sustaining peaceful coexistence between the two countries. Mr. Abikoye was speaking at an interactive session with the Ashanti Regional Security Council in Kumasi.
Mr. Abikoye is worried some Nigerians are known to be engaging in these businesses in Ghana, creating tension between them and their host.
Don't allow the Judas to mess you up in where? In Kumasi. Don't cover them. Our current foreign reserve is about $46 billion. We have not been able to sufficiently feed ourselves in rice to about 85%. The transmission is going on. The government is facing security, economy, and corruption at all costs. I'm giving you this in order to round up my discussion about you. So what do I want from you? I started by praising you that you are law-abiding. You must continue to be what? Law-abiding. If you are not law-abiding, I won't come here again. Until I go back to Abuja, if I discover you are no longer law-abiding, you will not see me here again. So continue to be law-abiding.
Ashanti Regional Chairman of UTAC, Chief Kizito Ikechukwu Obiara, called for steps to iron out differences that militate against the peaceful coexistence with Ghanaian counterparts.
Based on the aspect of GIPC law that tends to differentiate areas we as Nigerians and indeed foreigners are allowed to operate. In all of this, we have never lost hope that Ghana and Nigeria can actually achieve much more if we can begin to sincerely work together. We have never lost hope that a day will come when these two countries can become the toast of many other nations in the world. We have all the resources and the intellectual capacity
National President
to make this happen.
Chukwuemeka Naji bemoaned what he calls high cost of business registration and resident work permit acquisition. In a speech read on his behalf, he says the situation is very frustrating and demoralizing, especially for prospective Nigerian traders.
They have now made it a policy now. I think that is I don't know where it's coming from, that we must get $500 work permit a year. So if you are requiring 3 years resident permit, you are paying $1,500. For an average trader, it is very difficult. It is very, very difficult. And non-citizen ID card, $120 and $60 every year. I wonder what we have, what we enjoy as ECOWAS. And I saw when the regional chairman of Nutago mentioned foreigners. I want to believe that he was just being jovial, because as a citizen of ECOWAS, we are community citizens. Yes, we are foreigners in certain aspect of Ghanaian life, but we are ECOWAS citizens. For goodness sake, I want the authority here to make things. In Nigeria, resident permit is 6,000 naira. Before it was 3,500 naira for ECOWAS.
Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Debra.
Meanwhile, the Registrar General's Department has reminded the public that with a minimum fee of $1 million, foreigners can engage in retail business in Ghana. As a day's sensitization program on the New Companies Act in Sunyani, the Registrar General in charge of Ashanti, Bono East and Ahafo regions, Nana Ama Echa Prempe, says there are some restrictions to what foreigners can trade in and called on indigenous business operators to be abreast of the acts to avoid confrontations with foreigners doing legitimate business. Here's more in this report.
The Registrar General's Department is the officially mandated government agency for the registration of businesses, marriages, industrial property, and the administration of estates. However, in a bid to facilitate business operations and improve quality of service, the department is to be decoupled under the New Companies Act. There will now be a registrar of companies separated from the Registrar General's Department. The New Companies Act, Act 992, passed in May 2019, replaces the 1963 version and meets modern trends of doing business. Speaking to Joy Business after a day's workshop to sensitize stakeholders about the new act, the Registrar General in charge of Ashanti, Bono East and Ahafo regions, Nana Ama Prempe, explains some notable reforms when the act starts operation in about 24 months.
We now have an e-portal where you can do your registration online. Under the new act, it's now backed by law. Now we are even only going to issue only one incorporation certificate. The commencement certificate has been done away with. The Commissioner for Oath, you don't need that. But we have beefed up the compliance issues under the new act. Yes. The Registrar General is the official liquidator for public companies. But you could appoint the Registrar General to liquidate your company for you. But now under the new act, the company can itself appoint a liquidator, inform the registrar of companies about it, and they can go ahead. It makes it easier.
Recently, there have been agitations by local traders against foreigners taking over the retail market in Ghana. Nana Ama Prempe explains the conditions foreigners must satisfy in the new act before engaging in retail businesses.
It's not retailing per se that foreigners are not allowed to do. There are specific areas which are reserved for Ghanaians. Apart from that, if a foreigner wants to engage in retailing business in Ghana, the law allows him or her to, so long as the capital is not below $1 million. That is the minimum requirement for a foreigner to engage in retail or commercial activity in the country. So that sort of stops them from doing petty trading, so that the average Ghanaian whose capital is 10,000 or 20,000 is protected.
Some participants said the new Companies Act will help curb corrupt practices.
The new act will contribute to various efforts in curbing corruption in our country, because we are all of the view that, most especially with the registration of beneficial owners, we will be able to track people who have subsequent businesses of which previously we were not keeping track on.
Now, in other news, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, today locked up 2 electrical solution firms in Accra for defaulting in payments of taxes to the tune of over 6 million Ghana cedis. A third, Maclean Hotel, was also nearly locked up until management made a part payment of the outstanding arrears. The action was part of GRA's random operations to identify, name and shame tax businesses which have persistently defaulted in paying taxes. It is also part of efforts by the GRA to meet its 2019 revenue target. Fred Duho has more in this report.
The Ghana Revenue Authority Tax Compliance Task Force first went to one of Ghana's popular hospitality facilities, Maclean Hotel. After going through their books, management issued a 1 million Ghana cedi check as part payment for the outstanding debt of 2.8 million Ghana cedis to escape closure. Speaking to the media, head of Debt Compliance and Enforcement Unit at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Michael Sifa, expressed joy over the agreement and attempt to fulfill the rest of the debt in the coming days.
And upon our visit, they've given us a check for 1,500,000 payable this Friday, and the next 500,000 payable next week Friday. So their balance will be 1.8 million. They've agreed to see us on Friday and give us a payment plan for the balance, which will be 1.8 million. In fact, they've been very supportive, and we're also very happy that they have given us a schedule, and they have also agreed to come and see us and give us a plan on how they are going to defray it. This is very good news to all of us. For how many years? Oh, they've owed from 2017 till now, and we are very confident that going forward, and being what we have done, they are not going to continue to owe, and that will make sure that they comply with all their tax obligations. According to them, they just arranged a quick overdraft with their bankers to defray that, and so I want to leave it at that. At the end of the exercise, we are very confident that we should be able to collect. We are still on, it's still ongoing, and we have seen a couple of them. We are yet to meet the rest and know what their attempts will be. So far, this one, we've collected about 3.5 million, and the rest have also come to our offices and had a plan with us, and they are all paying.
At the second point of call, management of Intelligent Metering and Energy Solutions Limited had no option than to pack out for the task force to lock their premises. According to Michael Sifa, the companies owed over 6 million Ghana cedis. Several letters written to remind management of their outstanding debt had proven futile.
Intelligent Metering and Energy Solutions, they owe a total tax liability of 6.8 million, principally made up of VAT of 5.8, payee of 80,000, and the interest of 700,000. We've been sending them a couple of letters, but up to now they've not been able to pay. So we are here, and after firm negotiations, we've realized they can't pay, and for that matter, we are distressing them. Invitation is extended to them to come to our offices, and upon satisfactory arrangement, they will still be permitted to work. And that's where we are at the moment. Distressing is the last resort, basically, that we do. It's one of the last resorts. And so we normally write them, we send them final demand notices, assessment notices, and then we invite them to our offices and have a lot of discussions. We give them payment plans if they can. And after all that, if payment is not made, then we come out and do the distress.
Out of the 2.7 billion Ghana cedi total debt outstanding between 2012 and 2018 period, the task force of the GRA have retrieved over 3 million Ghana cedis so far. They were hopeful to hit the revenue target for the year 2019. Fred Duho's report for Joy Business.
So it's a Wednesday and, of course, time for the Joy Business van. Now, when most people are nearing their pension ages, they look forward to having a peaceful rest after many years of hard work. For Kwabena Tim, he's been looking forward to one of the things he's passionate about, owning a pig farm. He started 2 years ago and he's seeing encouragement signs. Kwabena invited the Joy Business van to his piggery at Obosomase in the eastern region.
Pigs are big business, and pork is said to be the most commonly consumed meat globally. It's incredible, right? Well, around 1.3 billion pigs are slaughtered annually for meat worldwide. Around half of the world's pork is consumed in China. Whilst Ghana can't boast of those huge numbers, what is true is that commercial pig farming is growing. The Joy Business Van today is headed to the eastern region town of Obosomase to visit a pig farm started 2 years ago by Kwabna and team. Kwabna and team is a public sector worker, and this is one of the investments he's making as he nears his retirement. It's not just a venture he hopes would fetch him money. It is one of his dreams.
I grew up in a house where my father had loads of animals in the house. I mean, every animal you can imagine. I mean, domesticated animals, hamsters, guinea pigs, guinea fowls, turkeys, chicken, and all that. So I grew up around animals, actually. But growing up, I also developed an interest in animals, and I kept a keen eye for animals that interested me.
Pigs were of interest to him. In fact, Kwabna loves pork. He decided to start a piggery and would later call it Trotter's Paradise.
I visited about 200 pig farms because I was always on the road by the nature of the job I do. And any farm I saw on the road, I'll ask the kind permission of the farmer to come in and have a look at what they do and ask questions about what they do. Then, of course, there's the internet. The internet affords us with endless possibilities and endless answers to questions that you want to find.
When Kwabna was ready to start, he secured land here at Obosomase and started with 13 pigs, including Trotter, the first breeding male. Guess you understand now why the farm is called Trotter's Paradise.
The first thing you need on the pig farm is here. It's passion. You must have passion for the animals. I mean, you can't eat if your pigs haven't eaten. And if you want to give your pig anything to eat, so be it. But if your pig eats anything, it will give you any meat. You must convince yourself that your pig must eat well, so it will give you proper meat. So you need the passion and you need resources to do it.
Kwabna self-funds his piggery. The central theme for his business is from cradle to table, as he's passionate about producing quality meat from birth to when the pig is finally slaughtered. That means investing in infrastructure and maintaining hygienic conditions, and most importantly, good quality feed.
I knew that Ghanaians loved pork. So I knew that if I was able to breed good quality, hygienic, well-fed pigs, and then have them processed properly, packaged properly, then there'll be a market for it. So these are the considerations I made. But if I looked at the money side, what it was going to cost me to do it, then I would have started, because it's capital intensive.
From 13 pigs, Kwabna now has over 400 in his farm, and after successfully managing it for 2 years, he's now turning to value addition. Next, Kwabna takes me to a processing center he has just constructed, where pigs are slaughtered and packaged as fresh pork, sausages, or baked for the market. Processed meat is transported from the farm in Obosomase to Accra, where Kwabna has started marketing to the public. One of his highly patronized products is a baked pork, or domedo, as it is called in the local parlance.
The pork is spiced and then baked. Most people have tried to duplicate it. So you find them parboiling or steaming it before they fry it, and it's soggy. This is made for health-conscious people, people who want to eat the meat without the fat attendant to it.
Kwabna hopes to expand his market reach after testing his products.
We'll probably have to look at another outlet somewhere where it will be closer to the people who really want it or who have tasted it and they want a repeat. But otherwise, I think deliveries based on orders that can be confirmed and sent through whatever channels will be one of our first options. So we can deliver anywhere and everywhere in the city.
Now, though, he's waiting to recoup his investments.
So you can catch another edition of the Joy Business Van next Wednesday, same time on Business Live. But for more news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. We have many headline news today's edition of Business. And that will be it for Business Live. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. We have a good evening.